Hello, everyone. It's time to have a fun paper crafting class. Hi, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota, here to bring you a fun paper crafting card idea. It's a fun fold card, and it is the wowest of fun folds that I've seen. I'm so excited to show this to you. So it is June 2nd, 2021. As I'm broadcasting to you live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And if you are watching this during the actual live broadcast, you can comment if you're logged into your Google account or your YouTube account. If you're not able to, it might be that you're not logged in or that you don't have a Google account, but then you can still sit back and watch and enjoy. And then there's a commenting section after the live is done where you can then comment afterwards. So a big welcome again to all of you. A big welcome to any of you who are live with us for the first time, watching for the first time. Thank you. Welcome to my channel. And a big welcome to Trisha Joseph. She is my moderator. She's the one who does a lot of hard work for me, and I'm so excited to have her once again. She's in the commenting section right now. She's live with us, and she's going to be my helper, the person who answers questions as we go, guides you to where you need to be, that sort of thing. If you want to reach her, the best way to do it is to put the little and sign, or the at sign, sorry, before you start typing her name. So if you put the at sign, the A with a circle around it, and then start typing Tricia, her name will show up, Trisha Josephs. You can click on it, and then it's going to actually make it highlighted for her, so she'll be able to see it. Not everyone else will be able to see it, but she will. That's how you can talk to each other. Pretty cool, huh? What do I want to tell you? We are going to do a fun fold card. I told you it's the wowest of fun fold cards that I've seen. I received a card from Shelley Gardner and Sarah Douglas, who lead up Stampin' Up! And I received that card just recently this month when I hit a milestone achievement. And so they presented this card to me. They sent it to me through the mail with some flowers. If you follow my blog, which is that the wrong one? That's the wrong one. See, I forgot. I have to take these things off of here. I have these little overlays on here that I did, and I have too many right now, so I have to clean them up. There it is. If you visit my blog at stampyourartout.com, you can actually see that card in my post a couple days ago, a couple posts back. But I'm going to show it to you right now in the video. So let's go ahead and set up the table here. So this is the card. Let me get this off of here. This is the card that was sent to me by them. It's my congratulations card. Look at this. This is just the envelope, by the way. This is this isn't an envelope that you put through the mail, but you can see it's got elaborate layers to it. My most favorite paper ever, that is from the Expressions in Ink pack, which right now is not available. Sorry about that. So this is the envelope, and you can see there's like a little sand dollar on there when you first open it. The ribbon is the closure part. You open it up, it says that, kind of cool. And then more of that beautiful paper. And then look on the back side. The back side says for you, just details everywhere. So on every single layer. So I'm going to pull that off to the side here. And then we're going to focus on this part because we can't do it all. But I'm going to be making a simpler version of this card. This card has so much detail to it. There's embossing, there's these beautiful, the ephemera pack from the Expressions in Ink. And gosh, just tons of detail. Embossing everywhere. There's another little piece of embossing. If you undo this ribbon here, which also slides back and forth, you can see, oh, and then they did some embossing here, some little pearls, some punches, just fun stuff. Okay, then if you open it this way, you can see that there's a fun fold to it. But that's not it. The inside here opens up. Pretty cool, right? And then look at all the detail that's within there. I mean, just a ton of detail. It's such a beautiful card. Down here you can see some embossing. I will be doing a little bit of embossing to show you how to get this effect here, but that's it. The rest we're just going to stamp. I also have a few things done ahead of time. So this is more of an advanced card. Oh, I got to show you the back side too. Look, there's even some accenting there and there. The side of the card that you don't even look at, right? So anyways, I'm going to show you a version of that. This is the card that we're going to make. So I've already untied it here. Oops, it's caught on something. So it basically ties the same way, and then you open it up. So it's still pretty elaborate, which is why I have some pieces done ahead of time. You can see some embossed shells on there. I use the same parts and pieces like the shells, that kind of accenting, just different paper, because what I'm doing is I'm using the Sand and Sea suite of products in this project today for you. So lots of glitz in there too. You can see some Winkostella that's on the shells. There's some gilded gems and some opal rounds. All right. It's a fun one. Now this is not, so sometimes, well, oftentimes, most of the time, I try to make cards for people who are beginning crafters too, so that you can see that you can actually do elaborate, beautiful cards. So I'm just tying this so you can see how it's put together. So that people can see that even as a beginning crafter, you can still, you know, impress people with cards. So let's go ahead and keep that untied now so that I can use this as a guide. I'm going to put that off to the side. One question that you may be asking is, how do you send that? It's 3D. I mean, you can see it's a pretty thick card. So really, just put it in a padded envelope, something that's got some cushion to it if you're going to mail it, or hand deliver it, right? But it is 5x7. So if you live here in the US, you can use a 5x7 envelope. We don't sell them at Stampin' Up, but that will work. So like I said, we're going to be using the Sand and Sea suite. This is the beautiful 2-page spread, and actually there's a third page. It's just this huge, elaborate, beautiful suite that you can find in the mini catalog. This mini catalog, you can see I've got a few markings in it. That's because this mini catalog is on its last month. Things are leaving. The entire suite is retiring, but not all the parts and pieces of it. Just being able to order it as a suite is going to be, you know, done and over with by June 30th or when it sells out. The designer paper is leaving. I'll show you that up close in a minute. And these little shell stickers, cute stickers that have kind of a pearlized look, kind of a glittery look to them. But the stamp set, the dies, the embossing folder, the opal rounds, and this pearlescent specialty paper will be staying. They've carried that over into the new annual catalog. And we're going to be using, for the card today, we'll be using the stamp set, the dies, the embossing folder, the the opal rounds, sorry, and the designer paper. These are the two pieces that I'm not using, but you'll still want them. They're found on page 27. Okay, we're going to set that off to the side. If I can find a space for it, my table is going to be filled today. So, prize drawing, I forgot to mention that. If you are commenting during the live, you'll be in for a prize drawing at the end. You'll get a chance at winning something that coordinates with the projects or the project that I'm making today. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 designer paper pieces, or the patterns. If you flip them over, and I have 2 that are smaller here, so I'm going to flip those separately. These are the flip sides to them. Lots of fun designs in that designer paper. You get twice as many sheets. So you actually get 6 times 2, 12 sheets. So 12 double-sided papers in this pack. Lots of beautiful colors. So then let's look at the stamp set. Here's the stamp set. You can see, now these images are slightly smaller than what they really are. When you open this up, you actually get 2 little packs of stamps here, so you can see that this shell is a slightly bigger stamp. Okay, so all of those fun sentiments in there, some background images, some little filling in kind of images. So if you want to stamp this, you could put this image inside that image and make it look like it's kind of watercolored inside. I love the fonts, and the sayings are really nice. And then we've got dies that coordinate with that stamp set. Now the dies don't come on this magnetic sheet, by the way, or in this little tabbed folder. These are things that I get through Stampin' Storage, and I do have links to those two items in the description of my video. So if you want to access and purchase those separately, you can. I just like to have my dies on magnetic sheets, but they do come in some nice, cute little packs. So this one here coordinates actually with an embossing folder. But do you see these shells here? Those can be stamped within those spaces after you've die cut it. So you can die cut it, then fill in the spaces, and then you can emboss, and you get this beautiful look. We have some other framelits that are in that set, and those will die cut some of these other separate little smaller shells. Now I'm going to pull this one off to the side for a minute, and I'm going to bring in the embossing folder. So this is, oops, there we go. That's kind of a little 3D look of what that would do. So when you die cut and emboss, you will get, and here, we'll just pull it in. So you first die cut this, and this is what you get, okay? And then after you've die cut it, then you line it up in your embossing folder like this. And these are steps that I've already done ahead of time, okay? You line it up in your embossing folder, and you run it through, and you're gonna get this. So, and the white, you know, it's just kind of bright. There we go. If I turn it that way, you can see the detail. It's a really thick embossing folder, so you will get a very 3D look to it. It's one of our thicker embossing folders. You'll want to make sure that you have that plate that works with that when you're embossing and die cutting. Okay. All right. So this is our thick Whisper White cardstock. We've got one that's already die cut and embossed. And I'm sorry again to those of you that are beginning crafters, but I do not have a lot of time on this card, and it's an elaborate card. So for die cutting and embossing techniques, if you haven't done those before, then you'll want to check out some of my earlier videos. So we already have, we're just going to assume that we've done this step. These are the opal rounds. So this is the fifth item. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, this is the fifth item in the suite that I'll be using on the card, and they're just self-adhesive. They look like fancy pearls. And if you don't have them, I mean, you could do regular pearls on the card too. This is just fun because it's new in the suite, and they just have kind of a more organic, natural look to them than these perfectly round pearls. So I'm going to put this over here though, because we're going to need that later. Okay. All right. So what do we want to do first? Let's start with the papers, because we've already got these cut and die cut, or I'm sorry, die cut and embossed, ready to go. And so let's bring in our designer papers. Actually, this is what I want to do next, because I forgot this last time. Let's, well, I didn't forget it. I forgot it in the first recording, and then I had to re-record anyways because I got kicked out. So let us go to the computer. Okay, we're gonna quick look at this first. If you want to, you can take a screenshot. These are measurements off to the right, supply list off to the left. You don't have to take a screenshot if you don't want to though, because the blog post that will be connected to this in a little less than 6 hours is going to contain this actual sheet. You can print off this PDF if you'd like to. I apologize to those of you that don't use imperial measurements. This card was super elaborate with all the details in it, and I did not have the time to make another version of it in centimeters, but here's the deal. I don't know, this isn't one of those letter size paper versus A4 size paper type of transitions anyways with measurements. So what you could really do is just take the inches side of the ruler and make it equal to centimeters, if you know, convert it to centimeters. Use your calculator or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know if there's 5x7 envelopes equivalent with centimeters. I have no clue. So that's why I just went with keeping this as imperial measurements. Imperial, why did I put initial? Oh, because these are the initial measurements, because we're going to actually be die cutting, or not die cutting, but we're going to be cutting into a couple of these. So now that you've had a glance at all of those items, you can see that there's some detail to it. We are down to the 16th of an inch on some of this, you guys. You ready? Are you ready? Okay, so let's start with the ribbon, because that's easiest. So we have our beautiful ribbon. This is one of our newer ribbons. It's in the annual catalog. It's Flirty Flamingo in color, and it's called Metallic Ribbon. So you can see the color name is on this side, the order number, and then we've got the type of ribbon and the amount and measurements. So there we have our 34 inches of this beautiful Flirty Flamingo metallic ribbon. It's got kind of a gold flecking through it. And that we'll toss over there because we don't need it. Let's bring in our designer paper. That's the one where we have 16th inch measurements in it. So do you see this one here? It's actually not cut to 3 3/16 like it said on that sheet, because what we're going to do with this, I just have a ½ inch by 4 inch piece. We're just going to trim off the excess when we get to adding it to the card. So don't worry about the actual 3/16 on that one if you don't want to. Just make it longer. And then this is the piece. Thank you to Nancy and Kayla. Because I ran out of this paper this morning and I was like, what was I thinking? I completely did not buy enough of this paper and I couldn't prepare it for the live. So they saved me. They live just 15 minutes away. Thank you, Nancy and Kayla. This piece here, I did not cut all the way yet. I did cut it to 7 inches tall. So it's 7 inches from here to here. And so now we're going to bring in our trimmer, our paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut this in front of you because there are 16th inch marks that you'll want to be aware of. Let's open it up all the way. We've got the arm on our trimmer to extend here. And we're going to bring it to the 8 1/16 inch mark. So now we zoom in. And you know what I need to do, you guys? There's this new button. So Switcher Studio, which is the program that I use, the app that I use in order to do my lives here, has this new thing going on here. And there's a YouTube comment section. So I'm just going to click connect and see what happens. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so if you guys saw what I see on my end, and like this is something I haven't seen before. I am seeing people's comments right here on my iPad. Oh, so nice. There's Kathleen Zuckerman, who just said hello from sunny Florida. And Penny just commented, and Jean, or is it Jeannie? It's probably Jeannie. And there's Vaughn. Oh, you guys, this is so nice. I don't have to like look down here and up. Oh, I'm so excited. You guys don't even know. This is so fun. Okay, back to trying to concentrate now. But I'm going to keep those comments right in front of me. They are sweethearts, Hildenell. You're so right. See, now I can talk to you more. 8 1/16 inch. So do you see this 8 inch mark right here? There's the 16th inch mark. It's the little tiny notch, the first mark on our Stampin' Up! Trimmer that's right after the 8. And you need it. Well, you don't have to have it. I'm sure your card will look beautiful without that 16th of an inch. But we're going to go ahead and cut it. And I'm just going to peek here. Yep, we got it all done right. So we have 8 1/16 inch. And now we're going to cut, as it said in the measurements that I shared with you. Hi, Sue. We're going to cut in, starting from the left-hand side and keeping it parallel to the short side. We're going to start at 2 7/16. So where is that, Rachel? Okay, here's the 2. Now, if you think of 16ths, what is half of 16? It's 8. So half of 16, this is where the 8/16 inch mark would be. It's at the 2.5 spot, okay? So if we go to the 2.5 spot, and then we want to go to 7/16 instead of 8/16, then we just go back one of those little tiny marks. Easy. I love math. Okay, so there's our 2 7/16 inch cut. And then the other ones are much easier because we're not dealing with 16ths. Still kind of challenging though, because we want to do 1 5/8. So here's 1. Now let's apply that math idea to this. 1 1/2 is the same as 1 4/8 because half of 8 is 4. So here's 1 4/8 right at the 1 1/2 mark. And then we want to do 5/8. So this is 1/8 of an inch. It's 2 of those little tick marks right there. Okay, and we want to do that cut twice. So we're going to do once and twice. And what we should have left over, and we can just tilt it on its side here to measure it, we should have 2 3/8 inches in this direction, and we do. Now you want to keep them in a row because that's how they're going to be applied to the inside of the card. So we're going to just put those over here, keeping them in a row. You don't see them right now. Then we want to take each one of these and we want to cut 2 inches off the top and 2 inches off the bottom. So we're removing 3 inches from the middle. These pieces here are the middle two. Again, keeping them in order, but we're going to cut 2 inches from the top, 2 inches from the bottom, and then put them back into your puzzle piece the way you had them. And I'll bring back this little puzzle piece, quote unquote, so you can see it later on. 2 inches off the top, 2 inches off the bottom. It's just going to make the card look like it's flowing really well if we can keep those pieces in order. These two you don't need, although you could use one of them for this panel here if you didn't want the, and now, so I completely forgot what they're called. I had to look it up. There we go, sea urchin shells. These little shells here, if you don't like the look of them, you could because they're not anywhere else on the card, you could totally then just replace, that piece right there if you wanted to. And I think it's actually, I don't know, it's one of those because I use the same exact portion of the designer paper, but we're just going to set those aside because I like this extra pink color in here. I think it's pretty. All right, so we have that paper cut. We can take these pieces and set them aside. And now we're going to look at the sandy color designer paper. We're going to need these here, and this one we're going to punch. So let's go ahead and punch that now. We're going to bring in a punch called and make sure I say it right, it's the Treasured Tags Pick-a-Punch. And you could, use any of the pick-a-punches, or you could just leave it as a rectangle piece. But we're going to punch this with this design here. And I'm just going to stick my 1 inch wide piece in here. It's a little bit over 1 inch. And we're going to punch one end, and then we're going to punch the other end. Like so. There we go. Oh gosh, Rachel, you have to do that over. That was bad because my piece was too long. Hang on. Designer paper. Where did I put it over here. Hang on. I'm going off to the side of my room. I'm still here. Okay, sorry. We're going to cut that exactly because if it's too wide, you can kind of get weird ends on your punch pieces. So we want 3 1/4 by 1 inch. There we go. Got to do that better next time, Rachel. Okay, so we'll just toss these off to the side. Pretend like that was not even in the video. Now we have our piece, which is, here we go, 1 inch. I'm going to zoom out a bit. That is too close. Okay, so let's add this into our punch again, into the side we want, and see now it fits in there really well. As long as it fits in there really well, you're going to get a perfect punched end on the end. Sorry about that. That was a waste of time. Okay, so we have that piece ready. And here's this one here that I mentioned, the sea urchins, little shells of those. And then we have our basic white. And our basic white cardstock is already scored for us at the places that were indicated in the measurements. So I'm just going to go ahead and bend those so you can see where those folds are. Okay, so that's ready. And then we have another piece. This is for the inside portion of the card. We have our Misty Moonlight cardstock. We have 2 layers of that. Then we're going to cut one more color. And I'm doing this in front of you because there are 16th inches involved again. Okay, so let's go ahead and, oh, here's my little post-it note. We're going to cut this one to 4 1/16 by 6 1/16. So how do we do that? 6 1/16. Remember, it's just that little notch right beyond the 6. So here's our 6. There's the tiny little mark right after it. So you can say to yourself, just over that 6 mark and just over that 4-inch mark. You could say it like that. Or you could make them 4 by 6 and not worry about, you know, having that extra 16th in there. Okay, and then we need this piece, which is going to be 2 5/16 by 2 5/16. So again, remember what I told you. Half of 16 is 8. A quarter of 16 is 4. So if we start at 2 1/4 inches or 2 4/16, 2 5/16 is just over that. It's a wow card, you guys. I'm sorry. It's going to have a little bit of detail in it. I hope this is right. Oh, it's supposed to be 15/16. Hold on. Thankfully, Rachel has lots of extra cardstock. So delete that portion of the video too. It's 15/16. I couldn't read my writing. Yeah. So 15/16 is just under 3 inches. I'm shaking my head. Can you see me shaking my head? So there's our 16/16 is the whole thing. So 3 inches, but we want it just under. So 15/16. 2 15/16. Yes, my desk is getting messy. All right, we're going to do a little step with some embossing. That is next. And this is heat embossing. We're going to use a product called Gilded Leafing. And it is a product that debuted in our mini catalog. Gold Gilded Leafing. It transferred into the annual catalog. So this is something that you'll be able to get if you are interested in it. I'm going to bring in an extra piece of grid paper here that I have folded, and that will just help me to transfer that gilded, the extra stuff that we don't use, into the container after I'm done. So for gilded leafing, what you need, gilded leafing, I keep turning onto this hazard side. For this, you need something sticky. You could use dimensionals. Put dimensionals on your paper. Peel off the little backing paper and stick the gilded leafing down on top of that. You could use tear and tape adhesive. You could use glue dots. You could use seal, any kind of stickiness. You could take and draw with the multi-purpose, the green cap glue onto your paper. Let it dry so it's tacky still. And then because it's still tacky and it's like tape that way, you can stick the gilded leafing onto it. So anything that's sticky. So what am I going to use? I'm going to use something called heat and stick powder. So heat and stick powder is like embossing powder, except that when you heat it real carefully so it's not overheated. And when you heat it, it becomes sticky, like tacky glue. Okay? The trick with it is that you want to make sure that you're using enough Versamark or sticky ink to hold it so that while you're heating it, it's not blowing away. So I made sure that my Versamark ink pad was inked up really well. And I'm going to do kind of a a little brushing of the ink onto the edge of my cardstock. So this is my Misty Moonlight cardstock, and I'm just coming in with the ink as if I'm using like a sponge or something, and I'm making sure that it's really inky. Okay, and you can kind of, I think you can see that from where you're at. You can see it's darkened the cardstock a bit. We're going to cover up the ink pad because these ink pads collect dust. They can get really dirty fast if you don't cover them up. Now this is the step where we put on the heat and stick powder. And you can see it's still shiny on there, so this is when you want to catch it. You want to make sure that that heat and stick powder, or any kind of embossing powder that you're going to use with Versamark ink, is put on there right away. Okay, oops, we're going to leave that open because we're going to pour it back into the container. So now we can tap off the excess and you can see where that powder is sticking. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that fold that's in our paper here, and we can funnel it back into our container like that. And we'll cap this. And then I'm going to tap off any excess onto the floor because we don't want to have that embossing stuff into our heat and stick powder into our gilded leafing. We're going to use this for the gilded leafing too. Okay, now I'm going to grab my heat tool. And heat tool on, off, there's a level 1 and a level 2. I don't know what the difference is. Just heat it. All right, so we're going to turn it on. It's going to be loud. I guess it's not too loud. But we just want to heat it off to the side. Like I'm actually kind of aiming it off to the side of me here, just to get it going for a while. And when you've let it run for a little bit, then you bring it onto your paper. You want it to get hot, okay? And then you want to aim that heat tool away from you. Notice it's not aiming towards my head like a hairdryer. It's really hot heat. So we're going to watch it change. And there, you can even see it change right away. It's getting wet, or not wet, it's getting tacky. So you want to move it quickly and not stay on too long. You just want it to turn that wet look. Okay? All right, so now it's tacky. It's ready for this stuff. And this stuff is totally lightweight. It's, you can't even, like, there's no weight to it at all. We're just going to stick this down in different spots here, just kind of along the edges, and it's grabbing onto the sticky parts of the embossed powder. Okay, so, and then we'll move this and we'll bring in, you can use a sponge. I have a dauber here. I haven't used daubers yet, but I'm going to try the dauber idea, and we're just going to kind of go in a circular motion to try to mush that leafing into the embossed areas of the heat and stick powder. And it's working. Yay! Because we retired the sponges, you guys. So that's why I didn't bring in the sponges, because they're all packed away. Whatever is retired product, I don't use it anymore. I try to just use current product in my room. All right, so we have a lot of this leafing that's on the paper here, and we want to get off any excess. So then you can just take and do a little bit more gentle rubbing just to get any excess off. This is way better than I did on my sample card that I just shared with you. This looks great. Okay, the trick was though to have a really inked up Versamark ink pad. So there's that. Hey, did you guys notice my shirt, by the way? I haven't been reading the comments. Did you notice? It's new. It matches, kind of, doesn't it? I don't know. It's supposed to be kind of a rock, a marbly rock look, but it looks more like sea waves. I'll show you. I'll stand up a little higher. See? All right, so then we'll just toss this off to the side for now. So that stuff, it goes a long way. So does embossing powder. We'll bring this back in. And we're going to start, let's start assembling. How does that sound? So we have to do 2 more cuts in here. 2 more cuts. We have to cut 2 inches up and 2 inches down from the top. So this is the top of the card. 2 inches here, 2 inches this way. So we're going to angle it in, and we're going to cut from this score line to this score line. So remember the score lines in the middle, 1, 2, 3. We're going to cut from this one to this one. Bring it to the 2-inch mark here. Put it down. I've got gold leafing stuck to my fingernails. We'll start with the blade here. We'll scoot it on up to that mark. We'll turn it around. We'll bring it to the 2-inch mark again. And we'll go from that score mark to this one. And see, this part pops out. So when we fold it, you can see, you can kind of get an idea of how that's gonna work. All right, let's attach this piece first though, because we got to make an extra long piece here, right? We have to make this card extra long so it folds 3 ways into that 5x7 look. So we're going to bring in our tear and tape adhesive. This is an awesome adhesive. Let's first give this a nice crease with the bone folder. Make sure that's nice and crisp. And that way when we add this here, we'll be able to just kind of bend it over. So we're going to put tear and tape really close to the score line on the basic white layer, basic white piece. And it's literally tear and tape. Ooh, that's really bright, you guys. I'm so sorry. That's a lot of white there. Let's do this. Let's take this out of here. We don't need this right now. That's just too much white. That's still a lot of white. Holy cow, Rachel. Wow. What if we fold it down a bit? Get some shadow in there. That's intense white. I'm going to try one more thing. Is that a little better? I turned off one of my bulbs. Crazy. Okay, well anyways, I put some tear and tape on there, and it's right along it's right along the inside of this seam. My goodness, it's bright. Maybe because of summer, things are starting to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add this paper first because I want you to be able to see this step, and you can't see it with that paper totally white. So we're going to add the designer paper layers on first. Okay, so this is what I did. I kept it in order. So we're going to do that. We're going to take this piece, flip it upside down, add our seal adhesive, or you could even use like the multi-purpose liquid glue if you wanted to, if you're a fan of that. This one's going to go on this panel here, and we're going to go right to the edge, right to that white edge on the top, the bottom, and the left. And you're going to see a slight gap in here, which you can't see yet. Hang on. I'm going to add this one next. This one's going to go in between the 2 score lines. You'll be able to see it now, I think. Okay, so you can see there's a little gap in there from here to the score line, and a little gap from here to the score line. There's that score line right in the middle. So that's what you want, but just to the edges, at least on the left-hand side, that's why there's that 1/16 of an inch extra. You want that to come right to the edge here. Okay, let's keep adding these layers, and then we won't have this stark white look going on. Yeah. And I like having the papers in order, which is why I had to send my husband off to go get this paper from Nancy and Kayla. Because I could have cut this from the remaining pieces I had, but I like the flow. I like that there's a flow to it. Holy moly, it's bright. And I have my window closed, and I have my black shade up so that I have less light in here, but it's still super bright. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oops. Cat hair. Or mine. It could have been mine. There's that. And then this piece here. And we might as well add this little guy here too. This is the one that goes onto this panel right here. And you can see that it's just going to flow in line with, if you can see, it's just going to flow in line with the designer paper that's already on there. It is so bright in here, you guys. It's crazy. let's add this in here now. So this piece is going to get added, and does that help? Gosh, no. Maybe it looks good to you guys. I don't know. Does it look okay? Yes, Sherry. This side of the designer paper. Should have made a whole pack of that marble design. I agree. Marble! That's the look I'm going for. Okay, so we're going to peel the backing off. We're going to tuck this. So here's the direction it's supposed to go. We're going to tuck it this way, and we're going to fold this edge over it like that. And when we do that, we're going to follow the top edge and the bottom edge of the card because we don't want it to be crooked, right? So we're pushing this in. We're making sure it's lined up with the top and bottom edge of the card. And we're pressing this on top, and then you can use the bone folder and give it a good crease, okay? All right, so there's that. Then we can add this Flirty Flamingo layer, and this is going to go smack dab in the middle of this area. This piece can be added next. Let's go ahead and fold that. And you could stamp this first just in case you're worried about, you know what, let's just do that. We'll stamp it first. Don't add it yet, Rachel. Let's add this piece. This piece is going to get added over here, and it's 1/8 of an inch bigger, okay? So from, you can see it, there's like a little overhang there. So when you add the adhesive, don't go right up to the edges of this, but stay right in the middle. And because you're going to keep, and then it happens. Then it happened. We'll just put that one on this side. Because you're going to keep this area here from not bending, you don't have to worry about this place here. And that's just going to go right up to the edge of that design. Okay, that designer paper. So it's overlapping slightly, and it's going right up to the edge of the design, and it's going to look like that. Cool. This piece is going to be put here, but we're going to do it with our tear and tape adhesive. We're going to put tear and tape adhesive in 3 spots on this. So we're going to do an outer edge, and we're going to go right through the middle with it. Okay. Then we'll peel off the backing. I'm going to use this instead. This is easier for me. We'll peel off the backings, and we're going to put our ribbon in a sandwich between the blue layer, the Misty Moonlight blue layer, and this Flirty Flamingo pink layer. So this is where we bring in the ribbon, and it doesn't matter, you know, how you put it in there as long as it's flattened out, okay? The ribbon is the same on either side. And then you're going to lay this down. Do you see how that's positioned? So you can make the ribbon slide either between here or here. It doesn't matter. So we're just going to take and flip that over. And we press this down here. And make sure that it'll still move. It's not caught on the tape. Good. And then we're going to press it down on this side. And the middle is pressed down. The 2 sides are pressed down. And you still have your ribbon able to flow through. We have this designer paper, which is going to get stamped. We have this one, which is going to get stamped. And we have this one, which I did not do the speckles on. So let's bring in our grid paper again. We got to do some stamping. It's a detailed card, isn't it? All right, so let's take and do, here it is. Let's do the Sahara sand with the little speckles. There it is. So for the square one, we're going to put a dense amount of speckles up here, so a lot, just because that corner is going to be seen pretty well, so we can go like that. And then I think I'm going to put a couple over there on that side, and maybe just a few down here. So that one is going to be on the front of our card. This one is going to get stamped with words, with the Misty Moonlight words. So we're going to open this up and ink it up, and we're going to make sure that we're keeping the happy birthday parallel to the edge, the top and bottom edge, and centered. And we've got that piece done. And then for this piece here, we're actually going to line up some shells before we stamp. So let's go ahead and do that next. Gosh, you guys, this card, even though it's way simpler than the one I got from Sarah and Shelley, it is detailed. Okay, so let's bring in our shells again. Here's that embossed piece. So what I did with this embossed piece, actually two of them, I did two of these pieces, and then I took Wink of Stella and I colored some shimmer paint onto those two pieces like that. So let's see if I can hold it up really. Can you see there's like a little bit of shimmer, sparkle? Hopefully you'll be able to see it in the photos on the blog post that will go live at 5. Live at 5. There's sparkle there though, trust me. Oh, there you can kind of see it. Okay, so then do you see the difference between this one and this one? This one has more of a golder look to it. It's because my Wink of Stella pen, one of them, I have two of them, one of them had more Wink of Stella coming out. So the more Wink of Stella you have coming out, the golder it's going to look for the accenting, just so you know. Then you take and you cut one of them into pieces. So from this here, I cut this shell out with this little stuff sitting at the bottom corner. I cut this piece off. We're going to use that for the inside of the card. I cut this little shell out. I cut this little shell out. I cut this big shell out. And I cut this grouping out. These were scraps. I hope you like how I did that. That was like a puzzle. That was really fun to put together. So we're going to need to work with these two right now, and we're just going to lay them down how they're going to go on the inside of the card. I think I want to have the dark sandy stuff over here though, at the bottom. Maybe? Did I like it up there? Nope, I like it at the bottom. Okay, so once you've put that where you want it to go, then you bring in that speckle stamp again, and you can bring in like, there's a couple other stamps in there that have kind of a plant look to them. And what I did on mine is I laid my pieces down and then kept picking them up and stamping. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's see if we can have that off to the side so it will guide me. So speckles, speckles, speckles. We want to do speckles. We're going to do some speckles in the corner. And we could even do some light ones without re-inking down at the bottom. We'll do some maybe over here. So you can see I'm just bringing my shells back and forth into the picture just to kind of, you know, guide my stamping. I think I want to have some stamped right through that middle there. So we're going to go like that. And then let's go ahead and take this one and we're going to do the same thing. So again, just kind of line them up where they're going to go. We're going to have one coming out this way. And you can stamp it lighter if you want to, but this will lighten up. It looks pretty dark right now, but it will lighten up. We're going to put one in here. And where else did I have one? I think I had these guys next. So this one is more like a fern. I'm sure all of these little plant things have like specific names to them, and I don't know them. So I'm not good about naming plants, but anyways, it's fun. The one that looks like a fern, that one's going to go here. Okay, so now we can add these pieces. And this piece here, all I did was add it with one dimensional in this section of the shell. And then on this side, I added seal adhesive. So just a little dab of that over on this side so that it would tilt downward. So it would be lifted up on this edge, but tilted downward on the other edge. I'm going to lay this one right next to it. Add that back in like that. And see, this is flatter and this is higher up. And that way, when I add a dimensional to this piece, I'll pull those over here, that's going to pop up and away from the other shell. So it's just a little trick. We'll just set that right down there, like that. And this is ready to be added to the inside of this narrow white card layer. So we'll turn it over. We'll add that right here. And you could add that with dimensionals. The inside of the card that I got from Sarah and Shelley is super elaborate. This one is not super elaborate. That's why I said simplified version. Here is that blue piece that I said, you know, just make it a little longer if you want to. It does not have to be exactly the amount or the length that I told you. So for this one, we want to do some stamping too. So we're going to take our speckle stamp, and this time we're going to stamp off because I don't want it to be as harsh because it's against the white. So we're going to lay this where it's going to go. Then we're going to pull it away. Stamp off, pull it away, and stamp. Stamp off, pull it away, and stamp. I think I'm going to put a couple over here. Okay, and then stamp off, and we're going to put it up here. So now we have some speckles coming off of that section. We can move those stamps off to the side. We're going to bring in our sentiment one that says, "Love you to the beach and back." So this is a birthday card for somebody super special. We're going to stamp that just below where this strip is going to go. And we can, in fact, put this strip down now. So I'm going to go ahead and take and put some adhesive, seal adhesive through here. And we'll just add that. It's about 3/4 of an inch down from the top. And you want to make sure that you're not overlapping that middle score line, because if you do, it's going to buckle on you when you fold that part of the card. So leave that bent part on the score line exposed. You can use your grid paper to help guide you to make sure that you've laid this piece out pretty straight. It looks pretty straight, doesn't it? I hope so. And then you just flip it over and trim off those extra 16th inches that you didn't want to deal with on that piece, right? So this now can be stamped with the words "Love you to the beach and back." And we're going to put that right about here so it's centered. We're done with the inks. We're going to bring in these little guys. So this one here, we're going to tuck in and we're going to put it right here. So to do that, I thought the glue dots would be helpful. So we'll take one of the glue dots off here and we'll add it to the back side right there. We're going to shove that up and in like so, like that. This shell here, we're going to put up on dimensionals. This one we are not. We're just going to add that. We could add it with seal or we could put it on with a glue dot, but that one's going to go about here, and this one will pop up with a dimensional. When I say pop up, you guys, I just mean stick it on. We're just going to stick that on with a dimensional. Pop up just sounds so much, I don't know, more fun. So there's that. And then we need some little decorations on these pieces. So let's open up our opal rounds and our gilded gems. And we're going to take off a large opal round, which I kind of shoved over to this side when I wasn't going to use it earlier, and a small one, because they come in 2 sizes. And then we'll do a couple gilded gems. So we'll do a large one, and we'll do a medium one. Okay, and then we're going to add this to the inside of the card. Because we have some stuff up here, I think I'm going to just go ahead and stick it right down. That's going to go in the upper corner. There. There we go. So this one's going to go here. Like that. This piece is going to go onto here. So we just add that with dimensionals. Pretty simple. The trick with this, though, is that you want to look at the dimensionals that you've already used on the inside of the card, and you know, to make it not so unbalanced with your thickness, if that makes sense. So we can add a couple here. We can add one up here, and we'll just add one like right. We'll just add one right there. And I'm avoiding the middle. Because when we put our sentiment on, it will have kind of that room to squish into. It won't be super thick. It really doesn't matter. This is a super thick card anyways, right? Who cares, Rachel? Just put them everywhere. Stop worrying about that. Okay, here's another tip too. When you're doing this, is this piece here, see how this opens up? You can't have it beyond that score line or it's gonna buckle up. So you have to kind of have it coming off the edges over here, but not here. We'll grab our sentiment, the piece that we'd stamped. Here it is. And that's gonna go on with a couple dimensionals. Oh, and this here, this is where I messed up when I did my sample. So this here, you want to just lay on here like that and look to see what's underneath. We can put a dimensional there and we can put a dimensional here. But if we put a dimensional right there, it's going to tack this part down and it's not going to look so shadowy behind it. So put it onto the actual die cut emboss layer. Then you'll center it, stick it down. And then we'll bring in those gilded gems again. And we're going to do 2 small ones. So we'll do one here. It's a wow card, isn't it, you guys? And then we'll do a couple of these. We'll do a big one. Oh, it doesn't really matter what size here. We're going to tuck that one kind of underneath this shell here. And we'll just do another one like right over, tucked behind this piece here. So just a hint of opal there, opal rounds. Okay, so that layer is done. Now we can close her up and we'll do the front. Oh my gosh, this card. This card is amazing, isn't it, you guys? Craziness. So if you want to impress somebody with a fun fold card, just, you know, do a Shelley Sarah fold. All right, so we're going to do that, tie that up so it stays flat as we work with it here. I could have evened those ends out a little bit more, but I did not. This is going to go up on dimensionals. So we'll add one in each corner. It is a wow card. You guys are still with me? Crazy. It's almost an hour in. I'm so sorry. You know, when I asked Trisha to help me with being a moderator, I told her, oh, it's going to be 30-minute videos. They're not 30-minute videos. Who am I kidding? Okay, then this one is also going to go on with dimensionals. And you could put 3 on for balance. This shell here. And then we're just going to add a couple of the gold gilded gems. So this just kind of goes on like that. We bring this back in. We do a big one and a, I don't know, medium one right there maybe. Wow, right? Holy moly, holy cow. Craziness. You know, I wonder if pulling this away made it brighter. No, I don't know what it was, you guys. It must have just been the harshness of the light in my room, which I'll have to work with. But we got through it. There is the outside and the inside of that card. Wait, there's more. I love it, Sharon. There is more. We're actually going to draw prizes. I'm going to click away from my measurements sheet so I can peek to see what is going on down here on my computer. What have I not shared with you? I want to make sure. Oh, we're going to draw for a prize for the winner from last week. So last week I did this little wallet that was made from a 12 by 12 paper and we put note cards in it. And so we have a winner from the After Live comments. We had, I think, 167 people. Yes, 167 people were commenting on that video after the live ended. And so all those 167 people went into a drawing, and with the help of technology, I have a winner that I've drawn. Let me show you first what she gets. We drew a woman's name. She gets a couple sheets of mini dimensionals, and she gets one of my not pierced Stampin' Pierce mats. It's in pretty good condition. Used it in classes for several years, but I have like 20 of these. So Yeah. So this person, when we announce her name, she just needs to reach out to me. My email is up on that screen. Here we go. Yay for Darlene May. Congratulations, Darlene. You are the winner. So make sure that you reach out to me so I can get those prizes to you. If you do not live in the US, I have other options for prizes since I can't send product. Okay, back to the desk. What is the prize today, Rachel? Well, I decided to go with dimensionals again because I have those. I have a ton of those. And then I had some embellishments on hand that were in new condition that I thought people could pick from them because they're not all the same. So I do have a roll, and it looks like it's open, but it's not. It's just the plastic kind of shifted off to the side here. A roll of that beautiful ribbon that is the Flirty Flamingo metallic ribbon. I have a package of the gilded gems. I have a package of the pearls, not the opal rounds, but I have a package of the pearls. So those individuals will also get, the people who are winning, will also get a pack of dimensionals. So if you are the first one to reach out to me, you get first choice, but just give me your choices in order, okay? Because you might both email me at the same time. No, I don't know. So let me pull this off to the side. You don't see what I'm doing in the background here, but I want to make sure that I've got that pulled up and this pulled up. There we go. And I'm going to peek to see who Trisha may have already announced. She did. She already announced it. Yay! It's so weird because I'm like off by 25 seconds. When I click the live button, 25 seconds roll out before I'm actually seen on your end on the screen. It's crazy. So today's winners are Coco Villard. Yay, Coco! And Anne Ronsky. So make sure that you use that email address up there and you reach out to me, you guys, okay? Yay, I'm so excited. And it's so fun to see names that are popping up that I see, like, I see them normally on the computer after the live, but I'm seeing them right here on my screen. I'm scrolling through right now. It's so fun, you guys. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for joining me. What else do I want to share with you? This blog post is going to go live at 5 p.m. Central Time today because this is connected to a blog hop post. So the first Wednesday of every month, we do a blog hop that features our suite that we are showing off in our new monthly tutorial. And the all-star group that I'm connected with is hopping with the Sand and Sea tutorial. So yes, so we were doing all kinds of fun projects. So you don't just get to see this project. You can come to that blog post afterwards in like 5 hours, and you can actually see, follow the blog hop. You just click on people's names, and you can be connected to all of their fun creations that they did with elements of the Sand and Sea suite. So make sure that you check that out in about 5 hours. And what else do I want to tell you? I think that's it. I wanted to also share that we have the last chance list. I think I already mentioned that already. There are things that are leaving the mini catalog. So make sure that you, if you're into Stampin' Up! Products, make sure that you check that stuff out. You can shop. Let's see if I can find that button. You can shop products. Go to my blog at stampyourartout.com. You can click on the shop button. If you are a demonstrator or you have a demonstrator, make sure that you're shopping through yourself or with them, and give them your love. But shop the products and see, if there's anything that you want that's going to be leaving by the time this month is over. There's a list on my blog posts too. So if you go to any of my blog posts and you scroll to the bottom, you can connect with the last chance list and access those lists so that you can see things that are actually like on sale. Some items are up to 50% off. So how nice is that to have half off items? Gosh, if you just scroll through the catalog, where is it? Here it is. There's things like, gosh, the Love You Always foil sheets are 50% off. The Blushing Bride metallic ribbon is 50% off. So make sure that you're checking out those lists because there's some goodies. There's some really nice stuff that you want to grab up before it sells out. So the last chance list is going on. Also, the new kit line just launched yesterday. So paper pumpkin kits, love them. I love any kit, but paper pumpkin kits are like my favorite. We have a new kit line called the Kits Collection that just debuted yesterday. And those kits, there's going to be like 10 cycling through in the Stampin' Up! Online store. So you just visit back like once a month and you see if there's any new kits that have been released. But we kicked it off on June 1st, and you can peek to see what's available. In future kits, you're going to see more fresher, newer ideas. Right now, to get the kit line launched in time, Stampin' Up! Did take and revamp some of the kits that have been seriously loved in the past, some past paper pumpkins, some past celebration kits. But these kits are very affordable. Just combine them with other orders. You can see them ahead of time. So that way, you know, if that was a thing that you didn't like about paper pumpkin kits is you couldn't see them first, they were a surprise and that just wasn't your thing. Well, then you're going to love the kits collection in that you'll get to pick and choose. You can pick from those 10 kits and order what you want and have fun with them. And again, they're going to refresh often. So come back every month to see what kit might be added in. When they sell out, by the way. And thank you for your congrats. I see some of your comments in this video and the past couple of videos. It's been a whirlwind of a month. And I've really appreciated your sweet words and your congratulations on the milestone that I achieved. Yes, it's just been crazy. And the stamp set has not been designed yet. So if those of you who are asking, who know how Stampin' Up! Works, when you reach the $1 million in sales achievement, you get to be a part of helping to design a stamp set. And that is not happening yet, just so you know. It's going to happen, but it's hard when I'm getting asked the question and I don't have any answers yet. So just know that maybe in a year's time or a couple of years, you'll be able to see a stamp set that I had a hand in helping to design. Who knows what it will be? I have no clue. There's so many pretty images that are already out there. Butterflies, we've been butterflied up, haven't we? That would have been one of my choices, but there's a lot of butterfly sets that have come out lately. Yes, so FYI, if you clicked on the June blog post, again, it's not going live until 5 o'clock. So that link will not be active until 5 hours from now. It's in the description of this video, but you can't access it. It'll just give you a blank page. So click on it later on today or subscribe to my blog so that it actually comes into your email instead of you having to go and look for it. Thanks, everybody. I've talked and I've kept you long.